Yeah, so these things were everywhere in the 80s, weren't they? Or at least they were everywhere when I went to school. Anyway, all the I seem to remember them more in primary school than high school. So that'll have been like the mid to late 80s. And I remember the posher kids having these things, these little 3D sort of LCD viewfinder games. Yeah, I never had anything like this myself. I always wanted one, but they were just we weren't exactly affluent when we were growing up. We struggled for money a lot, and we couldn't have afforded anything like this. I think when the kids were bringing these to school, and they were allowed to do that, like once a year, you could in my primary school you could bring your toys to school. I don't know if that's something other schools did, but they used to call it Toy Day. And a few of the kids would turn up with these, and you'd get to play with one for a little bit, and it was all good fun. I'd turn up with a pencil case, like, but that's life, isn't it? But yeah, I could never afford one. The most I could do is say, if you give me a go on your Tomytronic, you won't have a rummage through your pencil case, and that's not a euphemism for anything. It's just the way it was. Yeah. Anyway, I was hoping to pick one up because I thought I was thinking about them the other day, and I thought that'd be a nice bit of nostalgia. I wanted one back in the day, and I never got to own one, so I might buy one. And then I looked at the prices, and I thought, you've got to be kidding me. I mean, nostalgia's fun, but it has a limit, So I've done what I always do, and I've tried to save myself a bit of money, and I've bought one that's pre-booked, so it doesn't work, apparently. I haven't put batteries in it or anything, but I've no reason to doubt the seller. What they did say about it is it wasn't doing anything until they cleaned up the contacts on the battery terminals, and now it makes the sound, but there's no picture. So how fixable this is going to be, I really don't know. But it wasn't massively expensive, so it's if anything, I suppose I'm paying a few quid to take something apart, and if it works at the end of it, well, it's a bonus. That's the way I'm going to look at it. Yeah. But if you're not familiar with these, they are very early attempt at a 3D game, although I say 3D is probably using the loosest term. So you've got your little viewfinders there, which you would look to see the game. The light would shine through down the top, light up the LCD screen, and you'd have your game. And depending on what game you've got, I believe this is a racing car game. I don't know if it's got the name of it on there somewhere. Thundering Turbo, apparently, according to the sticker underneath. Yeah, this thing's filthy. I should probably, if I do get it working, I'll have to clean it, because I think if I start using this, I'll end up with pink eye or something. I don't know. But anyway, yes. So it's very simple. You just switch it on, hold it up to your eyes, and then you've sort of got the left, right, and fire. And that's how you played it, really. Very, very simple thing. This one is in, what should we call it? Pre-loved condition, I suppose. Someone's enjoyed it. And it's got I think it had a little bit of a rattle to it as well. That's never a good sign, is it? But yeah. I thought, we'll have a go. We'll strip it down. We'll see what it's all about. If it's repairable. If it's the LCD, probably not. But otherwise, maybe I can do something with it. Yeah, let's tear into it. In fact, you know what? Before we do any of that, let's put some batteries in it. That's been well mauled, hasn't it? That's not good at all. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's contacts have all been bent, so that's somebody trying to put a bit more tension on to make the batteries work. And if we look at the contacts, are you getting enough light there? I hope so. They're not in great condition. It only takes 3 batteries though. Okay, let's put some batteries in it and let's just see what it does, if anything. I'm assuming because the seller said it makes a sound, then it will make a sound. Make sure I get your positives and negatives right. It's so dirty, it's hard to see. That's one. Oh, it bleeped. It definitely bleeped. I'm just going to stick this to my head, and I can see absolutely nothing. Hang on, if I turned it on, that would help, wouldn't it? Right, the power button is doing a bleepy thing. Or it was. But none of the other buttons are doing anything. Turn the sound button off. That's working. So that's it. I've paid a few quid for something that bleeps, and that's all it seems to do. Ah, okay. Fine. But there's definitely... I don't know if I get this work. If I do get this working, I don't know how the hell I'm going to film it, because I really don't think you're going to see anything. I don't know. Anyway, jumping ahead there, aren't we? It's bleeping, and that's just a single bleep, and that's all I'm getting out of it. So, let's take it apart. Let's have a look. So, not a chance. Let's try with the screwdriver. Okay, I'm just going to turn screws until something falls apart, I suppose. Is there a screw in there? No, that is a missing screw. So that means I'm not the first person in here. Well, that's always a good sign, isn't it? It means it might already be half fixed. I'll have to try and replace that if we can get it working, but let's not jump ahead. Right, that's 2 screws out. There should be 3, I think. And let's close that up. Does it just split in half? Oh, it does. Oh, that is a bit of corrosion on the old battery terminal. Look at that. Right. I mean, it's obviously getting power because it wouldn't be making the bleepy noises, but yeah, I don't quite know what I was expecting to find inside that, but I don't know. I was expecting something a bit more complicated than that. Do these come off? You see, if it's the LCD screen, there's probably not a lot I can do about it. How does this all unbolt? Screw there. Let's turn that. Excuse me. Come on. There's always one that wants to be awkward. There it goes. Okay. Now does this lift out? Yes, it does. And that will be the LCD screen underneath it. That's the old binoculars with the... there's a mirror in there. Hello. Give them a clean later, again, if we can get it working. That's the viewfinder. Okay. Now, what's holding this down? We've got some... Are they rivets or just very small screws? Please tell me they're not rivets. Oh no, do you know what? It's actually loose as it is. So there's the speaker. There is the underside. Oh, there's some corrosion on that chip. There is the underside of the board. Let me just get in a bit closer and we'll have a look at the state of that chip. That doesn't look good. Oh dear. Looks like we've got some damp there. Maybe some of the traces have been damaged. I'll have a look at it under some decent magnification. See what I can see. Does that come off? No, it doesn't. I think those screws on the other side, I should be able to remove this. So let's get that out. Let's take the buttons out. Worry about those later. They're filthy as well. Everything's filthy. Right, if I unscrew these, this is get the right screwdriver, that would help, but this is probably the bit where I absolutely balk it. I take it from something that's possibly fixable and completely screw it because I've messed with the LCD. just make sure you're in the shot actually. Some little screws. And something's loose. Oh, and the screen just, well, that's interesting. It just lifts right out. And there are the contacts for the screen. So I could just try cleaning this board up. And the contacts for the screen, I suppose, as a first go and see if that makes any difference. Right then, I've had a little bit of a look through this now under some magnification, and first things first, the corrosion that I thought I saw on the chip isn't corrosion, it's just the type of whatever it is they've used to glue the chip down with. It's not corrosion, it just looks like it from a distance. So I'm not too worried about that. Screen's separated from the board, so what I'm going to do, I think I'm just going to go across, let me just zoom in a little bit actually. So you can actually see what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm just going to go over these contacts with a bit of IPA and then I'll put the screen back together and see if that makes any difference. To be honest, there's probably not much more I can do with it really, other than make sure it's got power where it should have. The screen itself, let me just get this in shot and focused, which it probably won't. So you've got a polarizing lens, then you've got the screen itself. I should clean my fingerprints off that really, shouldn't I? That is the LCD screen. Very careful with that, because if I stiff that, I'm stuffed completely. Then for some reason there's another polarizing lens, and I can't remember if this goes on the inside or the outside of this actually, but I'm sure I'll figure it. I'm sure whichever way I do it initially will be wrong. That comes out. And then we've got this, which is like the little decals. It's the game background, if you like. If that'll come out, which it probably won't. There you go. Right. Then there's that. So that is what you see when it lights up through the viewfinder. That's your background. Isn't that cool? Yeah. Okay. Let me get some contact cleaner or IPA or something on these. We'll give it a bit of a spruce. Let's just put that LCD somewhere safe that I don't drop it, because that would be game over if I did. And where's me cleaners? Where's me brush? Where's anything? Seriously. Ah, there's a big can of contact cleaner. I was going to use IPA, but contact cleaner, yeah, that's probably better. Right, where's me brush? Where? Bloody anything. Bear with me. Right, I just did that off camera, but I've gone round and I've just given all those contacts a little scrub. So hopefully they are making a good connection now. So let's see if we can put this back together. Let's see if that makes any difference at all. Who knows? So, oh god, this thing's filthy. Right. So let's put the little light letter in it. That is the official term of it, by the way, in. Oh, the buttons have all fallen out as well, haven't they? Because of course they have, yes. Let's put those back in. Just for now. Just for testing. And if it works, I'll take it apart again and I'll clean it properly. But right here, right now, I just want to test it. That's all I want to do. So, those buttons back in. Then I need one of these, don't I? Which one? Not sure. I think, does that one go there? Probably not. No. Does that one go there? Yeah, that fits. Okay, that's fine. Then we need the screen. Let me just look at this under some light just so I can get it the right way round, because there are electrical contacts and they do need to be in the right place. Let me just line it up. So when it goes over, that's going to flip that way. Which means my contacts need to be like that. I know you can't really see what I'm doing, but talking to myself does seem to help. So that, then, is it that one? Next. I think so. Okay. Then this can go back on. It should all just line up. Utterly horribly line up. But yeah, that's knotted. That's incredible. How's that happened? Ah, never mind. Sorry, I'm yapping to myself again. I do that. Okay. Right, little screwdriver with little screws. Let's just get it started on a corner. Next. There, no, let's put one in the corner. And let's just evenly tighten that up. Don't need to kill it, we're just screwing into plastic with tiny little screws, so let's not overdo it. Okay. Okay, that'll do it good. Right, let's get this all in. Which way did that go? Was it that way? Probably. Mirrors. Okay. Tell you what, if this works first go, I'll bear my arse at the town hall. You know what, a couple of screws is fine for now. Let's just put some batteries in it and see if we get any life out of it. Why isn't that come back together? What have I done? Oh no, there it goes. Right, let me see if I can film this, because we've had a little bit of success. Not completely fixed, but it's making all the right noises now, rather than just one solid bleep. And you can see the cars moving around. Problem is, it's still not right. Only half the LCD screen seems to be working. Now that's got to be a connection issue. Apparently I won without pressing any buttons. I'm assuming that's what that noise means. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just trying to get the best angle on it as I can with this. So you'll see the car, it'll be on the left and the middle, but when I go to the right it disappears. So that part of the LCD isn't working. Hopefully it's just a connection. Oh god, that's making some noises. Right, let's turn it off. Shut up! God, it's annoying already. It won't switch off. Alright, that's fine. It will when I rip the batteries out of it. I suppose take it apart again, work a bit more on those contacts, make sure everything's nice and clean. Hopefully that'll fix it. Alright, we're half working. I mean, half more than it was doing, I suppose. So it's encouraging, as long as I don't balk the LCD display. If I just gently clean it and see if that helps things. Maybe wipe a few of my fingerprints off it as well after I've handled it. That might be a good idea. Yeah. I mean, I can't see any bleeding on the LCD itself. So it's probably okay. It probably just is a connection, a dirty connection. That's all that's been wrong with it. And I'm not surprised because the whole thing's absolutely filthy as well as these things tend to be when I buy them. Let's just move that gently out of the way. I'll work on these connections a little bit more. I'll clean this up a little bit more. We'll put it back together again and I'll let you know if I've had any improvement. Alright, let me try this again. Because it's better, although half the screen still isn't working as it should. But you can actually see a bit more colour. This is impossible to film. But if you see, the car looks more like it should. But again, if I go over to the right, it disappears altogether, so still got a problem. Right, I can only apologise for the crappy bit of filming I'm doing, but it is working now. I've sorted it. Let me just see if I can start again. See, I've got cars in all 3 lanes now and everything's doing what it should be doing. Trust me, it is all there. It's just my filming is just a little bit difficult, but you can see I can move the car through all 3 lanes and it's not disappearing now. Took a fiberglass pen to get it to this point, which I don't like using. Oh, be quiet. Pull the batteries actually. So that's annoying me already. Right, yeah. Bear with me. Well, I can hear myself think. Yes, I had to clean everything up with a fiberglass pen. The contacts, the IPA just and the contact cleaner just wasn't doing it. They were just too far corroded. So it's not something I like to use on old stuff if I can avoid it, because it is a bit harsh, but that's what it took. I went very gentle with it, but that absolutely solved it. So it's fully functional. So there you go. It was worth a go. I'm sure I'll learn to love it. Okay, I think the next job is clean it up, because the thing's absolutely disgusting and I'm probably going to get pink eye from using it, so God only knows where it's been. But so I'll tear it apart again, take the case apart, clean it all up gently, I think, as well, because I don't want to start lifting stickers and things, but a gentle clean just so it's a bit more hygienic, and then we're done. Okay, so it's the next day and I've found another little gremlin with the thing. So the display in general is working perfectly fine, but what isn't showing up are the 2nd and 3rd digits for the score counter. So I've had it apart again. I've cleaned up all the connectors, and a couple more digits, a couple more segments have come back to life, but I've had no more success than that. So here's the thing, I'm going to leave it as it is, and the reason I'm going to do it is I don't want to do any more damage to it, because every time you take that LCD screen out you're risking damage. And if I do break it, that's game over for this system. Quite literally, it's going to be junk. And I've got these tiny little screws, and what they're doing is they're holding the whole thing together. And so you've got the sort of backlight, would you call it? The screen in there, and the filters. And those screws, they're tiny. They're screwed into very soft plastic, and the screws themselves, they're already starting to just round a little bit. So I think if one of them strips out, and it'd be the easiest thing in the world to do, then I'm stuffed completely. So I think I just take the win that it's up and running, it's playable. The score, it's fine as long as you don't score more than 10. Otherwise you just have to count the numbers in your head. Yeah, the score's got an issue. I'm just going to live with it. Let's not risk any more damage. So I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to start cleaning up the case, because that's in a right state at the moment. Particularly, there's been a battery leak somewhere here. Let's just see if I can zoom in on that. And refocus. Yeah, I've already had a little go with a little bit of sandpaper, and the corrosion's coming off quite easily, but really what I'm going to do is I'm going to desolder these connectors. Take the guts out of this one. Put the whole thing in some hot soapy water and get some of the marks off it, because it is pretty marked. Let me just see. Yeah, it's just scuffed and filthy. So I'll do that. I'll do the same with the mirror. and the eyepieces as well, so I don't end up with conjunctivitis or something next time I try and use it. I'll bring you back when I'm done. I'm not going to film that because, I mean, I'm just washing things. You don't really need to see that. But anyway, yes. Next time you see it, it should hopefully be clean. There you go. All cleaned up and back together and working. Well, apart from the score counter, it's all working now, yeah. It's cleaned up okay. I mean, it's safe to handle now. I don't need like a tetanus shot or anything. But I was hoping it'd brighten up a little bit more than it has. There's still a few marks on it. But, I mean, the thing could be 40 years old, so that's to be expected, I suppose. And it is, I don't know how well it's going to come out on the camera. In fact, I'm looking through the camera viewfinder now and it looks pretty good. But in reality, the top part of the shell is actually quite yellowed. I don't know if you're going to see a contrast there or not with the camera, the way the cameras work. Probably not, but there is a difference. Again, that's to be expected, I suppose, yeah. On the underside, it's cleaned up a bit, but there are still a few little scuffs in it, but it is what it is. I mean, it was cheap. What do you want? I suppose if you're a collector and you want one of these pristine for your collection, then this absolutely would not be the one for you. This is just a working, usable example. If you're like me and you just... Well, to be honest, all I wanted to do, I just wanted a cheap one to tinker about with. I wanted to just have a go and experience what it was like without paying. God, I looked on eBay and they're like 60 to 80 quid each, and I mean, it might be worth it for some people, but to me, it wasn't, and I didn't want to pay anything like that, and I paid 20 quid including postage for this thing, which would have been a lot of money, I suppose, if it hadn't worked, but it does, so it's all good. And it just gave me that opportunity to experience it a little bit of retro, without the nostalgia, because I didn't exactly have one of these as a kid. Plus, I really wanted to take something to bits as well, so, you know, it was good for that. But yeah, anyway, it's done, it's cleaned up. I've cleaned up the battery connectors as best I could. They're okay, they're not great, but they work, that's fine. And yeah, it's a perfectly good, usable little example. How much I'm going to use it, I don't know. Probably not. Might come out for a little spin every now and then, but for the price, I'm glad I got it, and it was an interesting thing to take apart and repair as well. It's just a little bit of a pity about that score counter not working, but like I said before, you know, I could spend ages trying to get it work, and I could actually make it worse, especially if I damage that LCD or the very delicate connectors going to it, then I really am in trouble with it. So it wasn't worth the risk. It's a playable level. Let's just leave it alone. Anyway, if you made it to the end, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I hope this was of some interest to someone, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.